You know that sudden wave of relief that washes over you the very moment you realize your evening plans have been officially canceled? It's that specific feeling when a friend texts you saying they can't make it and you realize your night is finally your own. In that moment, do you feel yourself literally start to glow with happiness at the prospect of a quiet, uninterrupted night in? While the rest of the busy world is out there chasing productivity and social status, you are making a conscious choice for peace. You choose a quiet evening, soft lighting, and your own company over the noise of social capital. It is a powerful, deliberate decision. But let's be very clear about one thing. This preference for solitude isn't laziness, and it certainly isn't a sign of clinical depression. And it is definitely not social phobia. It is simply a different way of existing in a world that never seems to stop moving. In reality, your brain is running on a completely different operating system than the people who can't survive a single weekend without a crowd. You process the world through a unique lens. Your internal landscape is built for depth rather than the shallow noise of constant movement. You are not the same as those who feel empty without constant external stimulation. You have found a way to fuel yourself from within. Because what you are about to learn today will completely flip everything you thought you knew about true happiness and fulfillment. We are going to explore what it actually means to live well, and why your need for space is actually a hidden, vital strength. Your nervous system has a very specific threshold for external noise, and the truth is, you have likely already hit yours today. See, every human brain has what neuroscientists call an optimal level of arousal. It is the baseline for how we handle stimulation. Think of it like your phone's screen brightness setting. Some people need their settings at 100% just to see the world clearly. But for your brain, even 30% brightness can feel absolutely blinding. Your internal settings are just calibrated for a much softer light. People who love staying home aren't broken. Their systems are simply designed to process life at a much higher, more sensitive resolution. Out there in the busy world, your nervous system is constantly processing thousands of different data points every single second of the day. You notice the stranger who made eye contact for a second too long, or the sudden, unexpected loud noise from across the street. You feel the constant pressure to say the right thing and the exhausting micro-adjustments needed to fit into every social situation you encounter. For extroverts, this constant friction is actually fuel. Their brains are literally designed to crave this high level of external input. But for people who prefer the quiet of home, every single one of those social moments is a small withdrawal from their energy bank. You aren't just tired of people. You are tired of the constant act of performing. You are exhausted by the masks you have to wear. A study found that individuals with high sensitivity process sensory information approximately 40% more deeply than the general population. This means your brain is working overtime in everyday situations where other people are barely even breaking a sweat or noticing the noise. When you are at home, you are not doing nothing. You are finally allowing your nervous system to rest and stop its constant screening. You are finally safe from potential threats, social missteps, or the endless things you feel you need to respond to in public. You aren't just recharging your batteries. You are finally running at your own natural, undisturbed frequency for the first time all day. Let's talk about why your home feels safer than anywhere else. It isn't just about comfort. It is about biological and emotional security. This isn't necessarily about agoraphobia or social anxiety. It is about something much deeper, rooted in your need for a controlled space. The world outside is fundamentally unpredictable. Someone cuts you off in traffic, or a stranger's bad mood suddenly becomes your problem. Your coworker might be in a weird mood, or the coffee shop ruins your usual order. These are small stresses that stay with you. Your brain doesn't categorize these things as small. It sees them as chaotic variables that you simply cannot control or predict. Now, think about the sanctuary of your home. You know exactly where everything is, and you know exactly what to expect next. You control the temperature, the lighting, the noise level, and most importantly, you control exactly who is allowed to enter your space. It isn't about being controlling. It's about existing in an environment where your nervous system doesn't have to stay on high alert. Psychologists call this environmental mastery. It is the art of creating a world that supports your mental health instead of draining it. And people who love staying home have mastered something crucial. They have built a space that demands absolutely nothing from them. Research shows that people who create a strong attachment to their personal spaces score much higher in self-sufficiency and emotional regulation. They aren't dependent on external validation because they've built an internal world that is rich enough to sustain them through the quiet. But here is the paradox that society doesn't want you to know. The more comfortable you are alone, the less you need others. That independence can make some people deeply uncomfortable. If you don't need the party, it makes them question why they do. Because if you don't need the social proof, What does that say about everyone else who spends their lives chasing it so desperately? It says they are different. Not better, and certainly not worse. Just different versions of the human experience trying to find balance. Ask yourself this question. Would you rather have 100 surface-level friends or just 3 people who actually know your soul? Homebodies have already answered this. Their answer shapes everything about how they spend their time and who they let inside. In psychology, there is a concept known as social investment theory. It explains how we choose to spend our limited social energy. Most people operate on a breadth-based model. They seek numerous connections and abundant social proof to feel like they exist. Their sense of identity is reinforced by the number of people who know them, rather than the depth of those individual connections. But homebodies operate on a depth model. They would rather have one conversation that matters than attend 5 events of small talk. This isn't antisocial. It is a more sophisticated form of social intelligence. It is about choosing quality over the noise of quantity. When you spend less time managing dozens of shallow connections, you have more energy to invest in the relationships that feed you. You aren't spreading yourself thin across the world. You are going deep into the places where your heart actually feels at home. A famous 75-year study found that the quality of your relationships matters infinitely more than the quantity for long-term health. The people who understood this early were often the ones who preferred smaller, more intimate settings over loud and crowded spaces. Staying at home is not about avoiding people. It is about stepping away from performative connection in favor of something more genuine. Homebodies understand that every yes to something outside is often a no to the peace they have built inside their own walls. They have decided their inside world is worth protecting. They have chosen their own quiet company over the exhaustion of the crowd. Society assumes you are doing nothing when you are home. But neuroscience tells a completely different story about your brain's activity. When your brain isn't busy processing external noise, it activates the default mode network. This is where your true self lives. This part of your brain is responsible for self-reflection, memory, and creative problem-solving. It is your mind's inner workshop. Essentially, all the processes that shape your sense of self emerge when you are finally not being overwhelmed by the world outside. Studies show that individuals who regularly spend time in solitude exhibit much more active and developed neural networks for complex thought. Think about the great minds of history, Einstein in his quiet office, or Maya Angelou writing in a bare, silent hotel room. Solitude isn't where creativity goes to die. Solitude is the very place where creativity is born and allowed to breathe and grow. In our hyper-connected world, the ability to be alone with your thoughts is perhaps the rarest and most valuable skill you can develop. While everyone else needs constant input to feel alive, you are out here generating your own ideas and processing your own emotions. That isn't boring. That is profound. It is the mark of a mind that is truly self-sustaining and capable of finding its own light. But let's pause for a moment for an honest conversation. There is a very real difference between choosing solitude and hiding in it. If you've been nodding along to this, you need to ask yourself one crucial question to make sure you are staying in a healthy place. Am I staying home because it fills my soul up? Or am I staying here because the thought of going out feels too hard to face? Because what appears to be a healthy preference is sometimes a form of psychological protection that we use to keep ourselves safe. It can be protection from rejection, from the judgment of others, or from the vulnerability that comes with showing up in the world. And that is okay to admit. But healthy solitude must come from a place of abundance and choice, rather than a place of fear. You should enjoy being home because you know you have meaningful connections waiting for you whenever you are ready for them again. You aren't running away from the world. You are running toward yourself, finding the parts of you that get lost in the noise. However, if staying home is fueled by intense anxiety or a persistent feeling of inadequacy, it might not be a genuine preference. That fear might be something worth exploring with someone who can help you find your strength and your voice once again. The goal isn't to force yourself to be someone you aren't. The goal is to ensure you are living authentically as yourself. You want to be choosing your home from a place of strength and self-love, not from a place of fear or social avoidance. There is no shame in needing support. There is only immense courage in seeking the life you truly want to live every day. People who love staying home have figured out something that the rest of the world is desperately searching for in all the wrong places. They know that meaning isn't found in big, loud moments. It is built slowly through the beauty of small, daily rituals at home. While everyone else is chasing the next big peak experience, homebodies have discovered something radical. Magic lives in the mundane. It is in the morning coffee ritual, the quiet walk, and the specific way the afternoon light hits your room at 4 o'clock. The comfort of your favorite chair isn't just a habit, it is a spiritual anchor that keeps you steady when life feels chaotic. In a world that is spinning faster every single day, these anchors are everything. They are the foundation of your mental peace. Research shows that sustainable joy emerges from these daily practices rather than the occasional peak experiences we see online. The people with the highest life satisfaction aren't those with the most exciting lives, but those with the most meaningful routines. And you simply cannot build those routines when you are constantly somewhere else, chasing the noise of the external world. People who love staying home have essentially hacked the code to happiness. They have found how to be content right where they are. They have realized that you don't need to be everywhere to feel fulfilled. You only need to be fully present in your own space. Meaningful life can happen anywhere, and it might as well happen in a place where you feel safe enough to wear your pajamas. So here's what we've learned. Homebodies aren't antisocial. They are selectively social. They choose their company with extreme care. They aren't lazy. They are energy conscious. They aren't missing out. They are opting out of a game they never wanted to play. Their brains process stimulation differently. Their dopamine comes from peace and quiet, rather than from noise, crowds, and chaos. In a culture that is obsessed with being busy and being seen, the most rebellious thing you can do is be content being nowhere. You aren't broken because you'd rather stay in on a Saturday night. You are honoring the unique way your mind is built. You aren't boring because your ideal evening involves your own thoughts. You are a self-contained ecosystem of creativity and ideas. You don't need an audience to feel that your life is meaningful. Your existence is valid exactly as it is, in the quiet. You are just different. And that difference might be exactly what the world needs more of right now. So tell me, are you team home is where my soul lives? Or are you team I need to be out there to feel alive? Drop it in the comments. Let's find our people and build a community of those who understand the power of quiet. If this resonated with you, consider subscribing. We are proving that normal is just a setting on the dryer, not a rule for life. However you spend your evenings and wherever you choose to recharge, know that your peace is valid. You are enough as you are. Thank you for being here with me today. I will see you in the next video. Until then, stay cozy and stay true to yourself.